Hey folks, what's up? Mike Benton here from the Mike Benton team. How are you doing? Thank you so much for plugging in. I'm excited. I'm excited because today's topic is PIN, which is property inspection notice, versus appraisal repairs. There's a difference between the two. So let's talk about property inspection notice. Property inspection notices happens when the buyer does inspections. It could be one of them, it could be 20, all of them, whatever. It comes back to the seller with a PIN, property inspection notice. It's an addendum in our state that says it's from the buyer to the seller. These are the findings of the inspection, and we want you to address them. They will attach the copy of the inspection as proof so you can see it, see the photos. At that moment in time, yes, everything's negotiable. But be very weary of trying to play hardball on both sides. I've seen deals die over $100. It makes 0 sense. This is not a win. This is not a us versus them. This is a win-win. So when the inspection PIN, the PIN property inspection notice comes over, the buyer's agent sends it to the listing agent. We then look at it. We meet with our client and say, listen, here's the items. We look at them. Some are going to be just simple. Because like when I show a house to a buyer, we're not putting anything in the property inspection notice that we saw when we made the offer. We're not trying to play that game. I've been doing this for 27 years. We're not doing that game. What we want to put in the property inspection notice are the things that have been brought to our attention from the home inspector that we didn't know about. We're looking at big ticket items. So the property inspection notice comes over to the seller. The seller has a right to respond multiple ways. Number one, they can say, we're not doing anything. I never recommend that because you are trying to sell, right? If you're not trying to sell, then obviously we shouldn't have a listing. Number two, you can say, I'll do everything. Sometimes that's truthful. Number three is we're going to do item 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're not doing 5, 6, and 7. Or they could say we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to give $1,000 closing cost support in lieu of doing the repairs. Now that PIN goes back to the buyer, and the buyer hopefully has a good buyer's agent, and they sit down and they say, hold on, let's think about it. Let's look at this. And they can either accept, reject, and go on their way, or respond back with something else. It's going to go back and forth multiple times until everybody agrees. And it could be they agree to disagree and they move on to their separate ways. I would tell you, unless it's 911 stuff, don't do that. Don't let a deal die. It's just going to cost you another house payment. Let's just work through it. That's the property inspection notice. Yes, everything's 100% negotiable. Even if there's things like septic and well and heat, and you're like, well, I need that for livability. They can still negotiate, and the deal dies, it dies. It's a choice of the buyer and the seller. The second question on this video is the appraisal repairs. So when a buyer buys a home, they have to pay for an appraisal. The appraiser is going to go out to the property. They're going to reach out to the listing agent. I just had one yesterday and say, hey, I got this assignment. I got to do an appraisal on your XYZ house. I keep track of every appraisal that I can go back to see who the appraiser is, how they did, what their pet peeves are, and all that good stuff. But the point is that they're going to call the agent. They're going to get into the house. They're going to come up with a number. Remember, even though the buyer is paying for their appraiser, the appraisal, it's kind of protecting the lender also to make sure they're not loaning money to a home that is not there's no value there to meet it, and or if there's any noticeable repairs. Appraisers do not do inspections. They do not do inspections. They appraise the home. While they're appraising the home, they'll see if they see some Captain Obvious stuff. They walk into the living room and the roof is just pouring water down. They're going to write up things of that nature in their report back to the underwriter. Remember, when you get a loan, you deal with the loan officer. The processor is going to do all the fancy getting it all ready, but the underwriter is God. The underwriter is who's going to determine if they're going to loan or fund this deal. So the appraiser is going to send a report back to the underwriter. And the underwriter might come back and say, hey, we'll loan this money, but these 3 items have to be repaired. Again, it's all negotiable. Most of the time, it's the seller that's going to handle these repairs. I have seen buyers step in on a highly competitive market and said, we'll take care of the repairs. It's negotiable. If no parties can agree, then the deal dies, the house goes back to the market, the buyer keeps looking. So we discussed the PIN, property inspection notice, and the appraisal repairs. Give us a call when you get a chance. Let us know what questions you have, because we would love to earn your business, because we know for a fact that if you give us a call, you will experience the Benton benefits. Have a great one. Bye-bye.